Pack your bags, we're headed on a big old ride. With dreams of sunlit shores and the open skies. From the hills of Cyprus to where the world collides.
Ready to dive into someone else's adventure. We're heading to Naples with Rob and Mandy, remember? They're the couple who moved from Cardiff to Cyprus back in 2006.
Right. The ones setting up their new life, yeah.
Exactly. And this time, we're tagging along on their Italian escapade through their blog posts. But it's more than just a travelogue. It's like a window into how they tick what catches their eye.
Oh, I like that. Like, are they drawn to bustling piazzas or quiet cafes, that kind of thing?
Spot on. So picture this. It's the crack of dawn at Paphos Airport Ryanair flight to Naples.
Oh, boy. Those early flights. You'd think with them living in Cyprus now, they'd be used to it.
You'd think so, right. But they make it through, no complaints, and even luck out with the weather sunshine in Naples, despite the iffy forecast they mentioned.
Oh, that's a good omen, isn't it?
Definitely a good start. They snag an apartment right in the port area with views of both the Bay of Naples and Mount Vesuvius. Talk about location.
Right, now you're just trying to make me jealous. So
Yeah.
Come on, spill the beans. What are their first impressions of Naples? What jumps out at them?
Well, first things first, they drop their bags and beeline straight for the waterfront.
Classic tourist move, can't blame them.
Exactly. And it seems like they're drawn to grandeur right off the bat. The main port bustling with cruise ships.
Oh, I bet that was a sight.
Then there's the imposing Castel Nuovo, that medieval fortress.
A little history lesson never hurt anyone, right?
And to top it off, the ornate San Carlo Theater dating back to the 18th century. They even point out the intricate details of the facade.
It's like they're scoping out landmarks, but for their lives, not just for sightseeing.
Fascinating. Right, like trying to piece together their vision for this next chapter in Cyprus. But here's where it gets interesting. They're not afraid to keep it real.
Oh, you know I love a little dose of honesty. Let's have it.
Well, they reach Piazza del Plebiscito, this grand public square.
I've seen pictures. Impressive.
Impressive, yes, but they didn't hold back. It needs a cleanup, are their exact words.
Refreshingly honest, aren't they? Gotta appreciate that. Makes them relatable.
Totally. And that honesty extends to their appreciation for the little things, too. So they're clearly wowed by the royal palace of Naples, the grand staircase, the ceilings, all that jazz.
Naturally. Who wouldn't be?
But then as they wander down via Cesario Consul, it's the view of Mount Vesuvius across the bay that steals the show.
There's something about volcanoes, isn't there?
Yeah.
That raw power of nature.
It's captivating, for sure. And it makes you wonder, are they drawn to that same sense of awe, maybe a little bit of danger, as they plan their life in Cyprus? Remember, they lived in the shadow of the Prudhoe Mountains before.
Oh, that's right. I'd forgot about that. Interesting parallel. So after that dose of natural wonder, what's next on their whirlwind tour?
They stumble upon Galleria Umberco, which, for those who don't know, is this stunning Art Nouveau masterpiece.
But you've piqued my interest. Go on.
Imagine this. Enormous glass ceiling and dome, intricate ironwork, the whole shebang. They're clearly in awe.
I can practically hear them gasping. Look at the craftsmanship, the scale.
But then, as their first day in Naples winds down, they leave us with this. Very nice Italian dinner at Rudy Cafe Bistro at Napoli.
That's it. No detailed description of the food.
Yeah.
The atmosphere. The wine.
Not a word. It's like they're saving their detailed reviews for a more discerning palate, or maybe.
Or maybe they were just flat out exhausted from their marathon exploration. I can't say I blame them.
Right. It's tough work, this whole exploring thing. But their whirlwind tour of Naples has only just begun. Maybe they were pacing themselves, saving up their energy for day 2, because it kicks off with a pretty spectacular sunrise over the Bay of Naples.
Okay, I can get behind that. Sunrise over the Mediterranean. Sounds idyllic.
Totally. But then, because it's Rob and Mandy, there's a twist. Picture this. They're enjoying the sunrise, and in the distance, this massive cruise ship emerges.
Oh, this is one of those you can't make this stuff up moments, isn't it?
It really is.
Oh.
Because the ship they spot is none other than the Queen Elizabeth.
The Queen Elizabeth. Hold on, as in the Queen Elizabeth?
The one and only. And here's the kicker. Rudib used to work on the original QEII. Talk about a blast from the past.
Wow. That's quite the coincidence. Or maybe fate. I don't know. It's just, there's something symbolic about it,
Yeah.
This ship representing his past life, appearing as they embark on this new adventure.
It's almost too perfect, right? But they've got a tight schedule, a ferry to catch. Destination, the island of Ischia.
Ischia. I've heard good things. Volcanic, isn't it? hot springs, those gorgeous villages tumbling down the hillsides.
You've clearly done your research. But before we get swept away by Ischia's charms, tell me, did they mention anything about the actual ferry ride?
Oh, right. Of course. Yeah, they make a point of describing the journey through the archipelago of the Bay of Naples, all these little islands, each with their own character. It's like they're soaking up every last detail.
Savoring the experience. Love that. So they arrive in Port Ischia, the main port, and naturally need a caffeine fix.
Don't we all? What do they find? One of those charming Italian cafes.
Right on the money. Coffee and a cherry puff at a small cafe near the harbor. And it's there they get a hot tip from a local.
Oh, I love those local recommendations. What was it this time? A secret beach? A hidden restaurant?
Even better, Pontil Aragonese. Apparently, it's this little gem, tragic-free streets, intriguing little shops, the whole 9 yards.
Right up their alley, then.
And you can almost feel their excitement as they explore this new place, wandering through the streets, popping into shops, even stopping to admire the Cattedrale di Santa Maria Assunta.
They clearly have a knack for finding those hidden gems. But hold on, didn't you say there was a castle involved?
I did indeed. The Castello Aragonese ad Ischia, a medieval castle perched on a tiny islet just off the coast. You can actually walk there. There's a stone causeway connecting it to the island.
No, that's what I call a view. I can only imagine those pictures.
I know, right? But even exploring castles works up an appetite. So tell me, what culinary delights did they uncover on Ischia?
Well, remember how they were a little tight-lipped about dinner in Naples?
Yeah, just a passing mention. Why? What's the scoop?
They more than made up for it on Ischia. They stumbled across this restaurant overlooking the harbor, Ristorante Abbracciami, and let's just say they were blown away.
Oh, do tell. Give me all the delicious details.
Okay, so picture this. Sea bass, roasted potatoes, fresh salad. Simple, right?
Sounds pretty good to me. But there's always a twist with these two, isn't there?
Oh, there's more. It's the little things they pick up on. The owner, apparently he's this incredibly hospitable guy, kept bringing out these extra dishes, like little surprises. And then, for the grand finale, homemade limoncello, served in frosted glasses.
Okay, now that's what I call a dining experience. It's those personal touches that elevate a meal from good to unforgettable, don't you think?
Absolutely. And it says a lot about what they seem to value, that genuine connection, the human touch.
And it makes you wonder, are they hoping to find that same warmth and hospitality in Cyprus? Will their new home be a place where they can offer that same generosity to others?
It's a lovely thought. But their Ischia adventure isn't quite over yet. Before heading back to Naples, they have one more encounter. While enjoying a couple of Peroni beers at this place called the Pirama Pub, they strike up a conversation with a couple from California.
Talk about serendipity. Another chance encounter, adding another layer to their journey. It makes you wonder, are they subconsciously seeking out these connections? Like they're testing the waters for this new life in Cyprus.
It's like they're trying to figure out what kind of community they want to create around themselves.
Exactly. Okay, so they've had their fill of island life, at least for now. It's back to Naples to soak up the last few days of their Italian adventure. So back in Naples, they are for their grand finale. And how do they choose to spend it? Taking in the city from above.
Of course. I should have seen that coming. It's like they're drawn to those panoramic views.
Right, like it gives them a new perspective. So this time, they hop on the Funicolare Centrale, one of those funicular railways, and head up to Castel Sant'Elmo.
Another fortress. Those two sure do love their history.
They do, don't they? But this one comes with a side of breathtaking views. They rave about the 360-degree vista from the battlements.
All right, paint me a picture. What do they see? Just the city or...
Oh, they see it all. The sprawling cityscape of Naples, the coastline stretching out like an endless ribbon, even Mount Vesuvius looming in the distance.
It's like they're trying to capture the essence of the entire place before they leave.
Exactly. And as much as they appreciate the grandeur, they always seem drawn back to the heart of a place.
So where does their quest for authenticity take them this time?
From the heights of Castel Sant'Elmo, they plunge straight into the heart of Naples, into the labyrinthine streets of the Spanish Quarter.
Ah, the Spanish Quarter. I've heard it's a bit of a maze. Easy to get lost in.
That's what they say. But they're not just wandering aimlessly. They're on a mission. Remember their fascination with Diego Maradona?
A football legend. How could I forget?
Well, their quest, should they choose to accept it, is to find his shrine.
No way. A Maradona pilgrimage. That's brilliant.
Oh.
So did they find it? What's the verdict? Worth the hunt?
They found it, but Let's just say the reality didn't quite live up to the legend. They even call the surrounding area a bit neglected.
The downside of seeking out those off-the-beaten-path spots, sometimes they're hidden for a reason.
That's the gamble, isn't it? But ever the optimists, they don't dwell on the disappointment. They even seem to find a strange sort of charm in the chaos of the Spanish Quarter.
What do they say? Embrace the unexpected.
Something like that. They describe the narrow, bustling streets, the constant stream of scooters whizzing past, the sheer sensory overload of it all.
Sounds like a typical day in Naples. They really dove headfirst into the whole experience, didn't they?
They did. But as their Italian adventure draws to a close, they find themselves drawn back to one last, simple pleasure.
Let me guess, pizza.
Bingo! They spend their final evening in Piazza Carità, enjoying pizza and beer, surrounded by locals and tourists alike.
The perfect end to a whirlwind trip. They embrace it all, the grandeur, the history, the chaos, the simple pleasures. It makes you think, what will they take from this experience as they build their new life in Cyprus?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Will they find that same energy, that zest for life in their new home? Or will their Cyprus chapter be something different altogether? We'll have to wait and see. For now, we say ciao to Naples and a big thank you to you for joining us on this deep dive. We'll see you next time for another adventure.
A new life plan where we never hide.
Out on the highway, chasing the tide.